first time you drove a car?
16.
And what type of car was it?
We had a Zephyr, and we had a, what's the other one that's a,
For this one, the Zephyr was
Ford.
passed on to me and I had it repainted.
Get another one from the fridge.
Come
most of
sit,
them were
Stace.
Ford.
So,
I never had a car because, I never had a lot of things because Francis got a, George got a,
but your dad,
my dad
Where
had
did
a,
you drive?
he was encouraging for you to get a learner's license and a driver's
oh
license?
yeah, I could drive their cars, but I never, well of course I started going out early.
Oh,
And then I
okay.
got married at 18,
Yeah,
and I started courting at 16.
yeah. But you had your independence, right?
Had a-
You had your independence. You got
Yeah,
your
I wish I'd
learners
come
and your
to the army
drivers and
somewhere.
yeah.
They come and pick me up and
I
take
don't
me.
know. They didn't have them in Canada.
Yeah.
And
You know, I didn't think anything with Doreen, you know, she went out, she got engaged, she got married.
What
16.
year
But now I'm thinking
was
about,
it?
she was only 16.
She was a little girl.
But she was very mature, and she
Yeah.
had her babies, and
Yeah.
It should be about 19,
Yeah.
1954.
the stores in the little town there, and they owned all the, Slanky was where you buy your material, all your lace and your satin and you know, beautiful material. They were really good at that. So you go to Slanky, and then who owned the butcher store? Somebody owned the butcher store from all over the world.
Well, it was a good melting pot in Luantia, right?
What's that?
Like you're talking about in Luantia?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a melting pot of people from all over the place, right?
It was everywhere. Nobody was there indigenous from northern Rhodesia because it was a bush, and you know, old roads went up there, sat down on a rock looking for minerals, and you seen the copper on the rock. And then of course England came out and they started the copper belt, because then they found minerals here and minerals there. So this was Mopolera, that was Kitwe, this was Luantia, this is Chibaluma, you know, some African names.
You just hung it from sitting on a rock.
And then a little dirt road with 2 little strips you could ride on to go from one town to another. And then they brought the people to live in there. You know, they advertised, and then people came from all over the world to work there.
For the mining, right?
Well, it's a job because
Yeah.
you know, in the 40s, I think it was after the Depression, hey?
Yeah.
And people had to work, so they went there to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of how your parents met and how they fell in love and that sort of thing, because she's born and raised in Africa and he's come to Africa from England. And how did you guys know how that
Well,
happened?
he was in the Navy, the British Navy, and he'd done his 14 years thing, and they sailed around, and he stopped at South Africa, and Nana was a nurse, and the nurses went, you know, to dance with the sailors. She went with a crowd of girls, and he was a crowd of sailors, and she met my dad there.
Where was Nana born?
Hey.
Which city was Nana born in?
Potchefstroom, hey? Is that right, George? Was it Potchefstroom? Or what was the place that her ancestors founded?
We don't know for sure. She basically said a farm in Potchefstroom, I presume that's where she was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we've got it all written
And
down.
was her?
Certificate.
Yeah.
Because we have an ancestor of
But
Nana
it's hard to find
who
out
was
because
in
the country doesn't
the
exist.
army,
Yeah.
and there were 6 of them were chosen to look for a place to start a
I
city
did put it on.
up on the hill or down in the valley. Well, they chose a place, and then it started Mafeking. Mafeking is where they.
I've heard of that, yeah.
He actually was one of the 6 that founded the city. It's a big roaring
Yeah.
city right now, but they founded it. They said this is a good place.
Oh, that's right.
So-
And I think Mum.
The question also, the next part is, so Nana was born in South Africa, but then they left to Northern Rhodesia for work purposes? Is that what it
Nana's
was?
father was in the British Army, and then during the turn of the year, you know, 100 years ago, he was sent down to fight the Dutch people during the Boer.
The
they
Boer
call it the
War,
Boer
yeah.
War, and the Dutch won, and that's why it's Afrikaans. The Afrikaans is African Dutch.
Yeah.
What they all speak. It's got nothing to do with the British. It was the
You
Dutch
told me
people
about
that
the
won, and
English
they,
one. Where
and
you
they
found it?
ruled the place.
The English won
Now,
the
they all
Boer
speak
War.
Dutch anyway.
The English one.
The
was
English
born.
won the Boer War.
Not the
I didn't think so. I thought the Dutch one.
No, the English.
Oh, well, good show. You told me because I'm telling everybody it was a...
It's called the Boer War, but the English one, that's why come he stayed down over there.
Well,
Okay.
how come it's all speaking Dutch language there and there's no English spoken there at all? You
Because,
speak
because
English
of
to my aunt, you
because of
don't
who
talk.
settled Who settled after the war?
Yeah, after the war with the Dutch settled, but it was,
They stayed.
it was British rule. That's why you're a British citizen too, because you were
Yeah, but I had
born.
nothing to do with South Africa.
No, but you were born in Africa.
Yeah, but I wasn't
Look it up
born.
if you don't
I was
believe
born.
us.
Africa had Egypt, and Tanganyika, and also I was born in what's now Gambia. I had nothing to do with South Africa.
Right, but
Record of it. So just for the family. So we know that you and Granddad left Northern Rhodesia because it wasn't safe anymore, because you guys were threatened. But why did your parents leave South Africa? It was just for business
Same
opportunities?
thing, same
Oh, it
thing.
was unsafe?
He had one more year before he had his, how many years? 25 years
Retired.
in line.
Okay.
Or
So
50 years.
they left South Africa for safety and better opportunities in Rhodesia.
Yeah,
And then,
just about all the whites left
okay.
because
And
it was dangerous.
was Nana's, because I know Nana's mother was also born in Africa. Was she from South Africa, or were they from
No,
somewhere
she
else?
was born in South Africa.
Okay.
And her father was
Do
born
you mind
in Wales.
hesitating a little bit? I would like to resolve a minor dispute here.
Okay.
My question is, who won the Dutch-English War in South Africa? Does that make you feel comfortable? Okay. Between 1899 and 1902, the British Army fought a bitter colonial war against the Boers being Dutch, in South Africa. Although outnumbered, the Boers were a skilled, determined enemy. After initial setback and a long period of guerrilla warfare, the British eventually prevailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.